several staff from the county here tonight. I thought maybe each of us could just introduce ourselves, mention our names, and what we do.
I'm Michelangelo Silva. I'm with the Building Inspection Division, and I'm in charge of code enforcement.
My name is Gano Thomas. I'm Principal Building Inspector of the East Coordinator for the county out here. I have an office in Brentwood.
My name is Deborah Laughlin. I'm with Community Development, and I'm a Planning Condition 3.
My name is Ruben Hernandez, and I'm with the current Planning Division of the Department of Conservation Development, and I will be working a lot with the folks out here in Bethel Island and provide service.
Great, thanks. So we have staff here tonight from both the Building Inspection Division and the Community Development Division. It's very important to us to try to do everything we can to clarify what the county's processes and services are. What we're going to do tonight is start off with a presentation and then answer some questions that you might have. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Mike Silva to talk a bit about the building permit.
I left some of my cards back on the table as well. If you have specific questions, go ahead and do the other sheet there. Otherwise, go ahead and give me a call, and I'll try to get back to you. When you call me, give me your complaint number, the RF, your address, and then I can go ahead and look it up. The files over here are kept in the East County office, and I work out in Martinez. What I like to do is start off and tell people what requires a permit. This covers both building, plumbing, electrical, and mechanical. And the ordinance says, no person, firm, or corporation shall erect, construct, enlarge, alter, repair, move, improve, remove, convert, or demolish any building or structure regulated by this title, or cause the same to be done, or install or connect any equipment regulated by this title, or perform any work regulated by this title, without first obtaining necessary permits from the county building official.
In other words, you can't change your lock on your house, huh?
That covers quite a bit. Now, there are a few exceptions. You can go ahead and paint. You can go ahead and put carpet in there. If you want to change the light fixture, change the lock on your door, a permit is not required. A lot of everything else is. And so before you go ahead and do something, I recommend that you call. But I do get a lot of complaints that say, well, I called the county, and they gave me the wrong information from what I'm being told now. And yes, that happens. If you would get the local inspector who's driving around here and say, do I need a permit for my shed? He's going to ask you, how big is the shed? And you can say, that's under 120 square feet. No, you don't need a permit. Go ahead and build it. And you go ahead and build it, but what the inspector forgot to tell you, that you probably didn't know, was that you just can't put it any place on your lot. There are side setbacks and there are easements. If you have a septic tank, you can't put the shed over the septic tank. You can't put it in the front setback or the side setbacks. If you do, that's a violation. One of the first questions I was asked when I started as an inspector was, I want to build a playhouse for my kids. Do I need a permit? And I'm thinking, once again, this little thing is 6 by 8 because I just got done building one for my kids. And I said, nah, don't worry about it. You don't need a permit for that. 4 weeks later, I get a phone call from the neighbor complaining this guy has a 20 by 20 house and a tree, and it has electricity and a complete bathroom. And I said, well, you said I didn't need a permit. Well, yeah, what I was thinking and you were thinking are two different things. And if you go ahead and call one of the code enforcement officers or myself, we're probably going to ask you 20 or more questions to make sure that we have a good idea as to what you're doing. And when we probably get all done, we probably didn't ask you if you lived in Bethel Island and didn't ask you if you were in the floodplain. And as you know, you just can't build anything you want to in the floodplain so when you make that phone call, it makes a difference on which department, and also how much knowledge does that person have. Knowing that you are calling from Bethel Island, I would ask questions about the floodplain and let you know about the type of materials. You can have storage in there, but it's regulated on the type of materials you can use. We have put on the table over there our typical complaint form. You can get them online. It has the online number. We have a toll-free complaint hotline that you can go ahead and you can email us the information, and online it has the same information down here. In there it does ask who's doing the complaint. It's not mandatory, but there are times when we go out and we can't see the violation. And we want to get back to whoever's doing the complaint to let them know that we were out there, we couldn't find it, and sometimes, well, because you can't see it from there, you got to go up the street or whatever, or some of these places in the rural area, the house is in the orchard and not the one in the front, and so it's good to go ahead and be able to get that communication going. And if you give us your name, we'll send you a card so you can call up and find out what the complaint number is and get some information on the standings. My best recommendation so that you don't get a complaint letter from me is be considerate of your neighbors. If you're running a business next door, which you're not supposed to do, and you start having those 6 diesel pickups start at 6:30 in the morning, your neighbor's going to get upset. And chances are they're going to say something because they're going to call us. Now, if we have people on the cul-de-sac, there's no parking there, and you have 10 employees showing up, which aren't supposed to be there, you take up all the parking places, people are going to be upset. So my recommendation is to work mainly on complaints, so be a good neighbor. We also get complaints from contractors. We got one guy every month on the 1st, he gives us a call. He installs water heaters, and he believes in the permit process, and everybody that he gives a bid to that he doesn't get the job, he will call us up on that 1st and give us a list. It could be 10, 15, or 20 people and say, I know they have a water heater because the other one wasn't working. Or I know their furnace is broken down and it has to be replaced. If you don't have a permit, that means some other contractor went in there and got the job because they weren't willing to pay me the fee. And so, one source of complaints. Ex-employees. They're there, you run them off the job. Hey, it could be a phone call. And they're happy to fill this out there as to what's going on. If you have a friend helping you, don't piss them off. They're going to go ahead and say, I know it's wrong, and it was done without a permit because I did the work. And that happens. And talking about exes, they do go ahead and call us as well and say, I know my husband didn't have a permit. And they give us all sorts of good information as to what's wrong with it. We also have the code enforcement officer who goes around, and his main job is looking for people who are doing work without permit, junk and debris, and later on we're going to be taking over, we're starting the abandoned vehicle, and so he's going to be looking for junk cars. So how does the process work? Once we get the complaint form, generally we go ahead and the rest of the county, we send them out a courtesy letter. And here in Bethel Island, we're going to go out and take a look at it first and then send out the courtesy letter. The courtesy letter more or less says, we've been told, or come to our attention, that you may be running a business out of your house. You have junk and debris. You are doing work without a permit. And talk to us. Or go in there and get that permit.